All right. Hello, folks. We would be joining. Thanks for joining, and we would be starting in just about a couple of minutes. We still have 2 minutes to 12 p.m. local time. So we'll just give a couple of more minutes and then get started. While we wait for the folks to join in, let me just open the slide for the swags. So as we all are attending this conference virtually, so there are few virtual swags up for grab. So while we wait for other folks to join and start at 12, you may want to scan this QR code and get your swag. All right, so it's 12 p.m. local time, and so let's get started. Hello, and welcome to this Global Azure Conference session on developing awesome search experience using Azure Cognitive Search, Microsoft Bot Framework, .NET Core, and Microsoft Teams. I am Rishabh Verma, and in next 50 minutes or so, we will develop a Microsoft Teams bot to search the content of documents leveraging Microsoft Bot Framework and Azure Cognitive Search. So let's get started. Right. So, like I said, since these are unprecedented and challenging times, something which we have never experienced in our lifetime, and I hope we never do. So, we are attending this conference virtually. So, we have few virtual swags up for grabs, and these can be claimed either by scanning the QR code, right? Shown on the picture here, the slide here, or by visiting one of these URLs. So don't worry about if you're not able to scan it right away. I will be posting this deck in the YouTube description after the session. So do go out and collect your swag after the session, right? Okay, so I'll just begin with a quick introduction about myself. So that's me. This is me. I am Rishabh. About my technical and industrial experience. So I have about 13 years in IT industry, of which 10 plus years have been at Microsoft. What do I do? So I design, architect, and develop enterprise applications and help customers achieve more using Microsoft technologies. My areas of interest are .NET Core, ASP.NET Core, .NET Compiler Platform that was codenamed Rosalind, and Visual Studio Extensibility Development. And I love to write tools and utilities to enhance developer productivity and quality. In this learning journey, I have had a privilege and honor to author few books and communicate and give it back to the community. So these books are .NET Core 2.0 by example, parallel programming with C Sharp and .NET Core. Like you can make out the topics of my interest. And of late, I wrote Visual Studio Extensibility Development. And I was fortunate to get Mats Christensen, who happens to be my Visual Studio Extensibility guru, and one of the greatest voice on the Visual Studio extensibility, to write the foreword and guide me in this book. So the reason I'm putting up this is that we are going to, search this. This is a image of the cover of the book, and that's the only place where Matt's name is there. And if our demo goes successful, we should be able to search Matt's name in the deck. So that is why I'm highlighting this. As I said, it's a difficult time, and so on the personal front, I am also a Corona survivor. And post this talk, I would be happy to share and help folks having queries on COVID as well. I have blogged my entire experience in the URL listed here. I hope nobody needs it, but in case anybody do, I would be more than happy to share it here as well. And I occasionally blog at this URL, that is rishabhverma.net. And then these are the places where I could be reached out on LinkedIn and on Twitter here. So with this, let's get started with the session objective. So what's the crux of this session? So the crux of this talk, the objective of this session, is to develop a Microsoft Teams bot to search the contents of the documents. And we will find out that, searching the content of documents may appear a very hard problem to, crack. But we will find out that using Microsoft tools and technology, this difficult problem will appear easy. And this is a hands-on session. So we will be writing code, and if demo gods bless us, we will have a working demonstration of search by the end of this session, right? And what we will be using Azure Cognitive Search, Microsoft Bot Framework, .NET Core, and Microsoft Teams. Okay, since we are developing something, we need to have a use case for the demo so that everyone is on the same page. We have the following use case for the demo. These are the high-level requirements that we should be able to search the text content of documents, and those documents can be a Word file or an Excel file or a PowerPoint file or maybe a PDF file. So any document basically, and whatever is written inside it, that is all we should be able to search. So that's the problem that we will take up and try to solve. And we will be developing a Teams bot, which will be giving us the desired search result. And these documents, they can be placed in any of the following places. It can be on your, in your local drive. It can be in your file share, or it can be in a SharePoint document library, or it can be in one of your Google Drives or OneDrives. So this is what it is. So the problem is that we have few documents. They can be Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or PDF, and they are placed anywhere in your on-prem or document library in SharePoint or OneDrive or Google Drive. We have to choose one. For this purpose, we can choose any. So I have chosen my on-premises file share. So your files are kept, and you just want that whatever is there, you should be able to search within these documents and get the result. So that's the problem that we are trying to solve. And we will create a Teams bot to do so. So let's get started. So what's in agenda? The prerequisite for this session is absolutely nothing. You should just know a little bit of programming. And if you know Azure, well and good. And, obviously, since it's a .NET and .NET Core C# based application that we are going to create. So the minimum criteria would be that you should at least be familiar with .NET and C# programming. But apart from that, we'll try to cover at a very high level all the fundamentals. So we'll start off with search. That why do we need search to start with? So first we'll cover high level introduction to search, and then we'll find out that search that appears to be a hard problem, how it becomes an easier one using Azure Cognitive Search. Then we'll see why bot. Why do you want to develop a bot for that? So why are bots getting so popular? So we'll just see what are bots and why should we use bots. And then making the bot becomes easier with another tool called Microsoft Bot Framework. So we'll just have a quick recap of Microsoft Bot Framework as well. And then finally, if Microsoft Teams have revolutionized the way the world is working right now in this pandemic, so we will also be touching upon Microsoft Teams. And this bot essentially is an app for Microsoft Team. So that's what we will quickly brush up as well. And then finally, we will dive into the core topic of developing the end-to-end solution almost from scratch to develop the search bot. Finally, if we have time, we can have questions and answers as well. I will, after I'm done with the session, I'll try to go over to the live chat and see if there are any questions. Okay. So first thing is that why do we need search? That's an obvious question that might come to our mind. So why search? Now, if you look around us, we all are searching for something. Uh, Not being philosophical, but search is everywhere. Be it when you are using your Windows 10. So this is a screenshot from our Windows 10. So while I am, searching something in Windows 10, trying to find an app or a file or any other executable that I want to run. So that's where I'm searching. Or maybe while I need to find something over in the internet. So either I'm using the Bing search or I'm using the Google search. So either there you are using the search engines. While you are developing enterprise grade applications on the cloud, they are also like on Azure. So this is a screenshot from Azure. So there also you are searching either for resources, services, or documentation. So that's where you are searching. Or while you are just socializing, on Twitter or on Facebook, there also we make extensive use of search. Uh, Shopping isn't spared either. So while shopping, you want to find an item that there also you need to search. And if you are trying to entertain or teach yourself something, there also you need search to come into picture. So we all make extensive use of search, and it's absolutely no wonder that search is inevitable in any modern web application or any application, and users assume search to exist by default. I mean, even if if you make an application, it doesn't have a search feature, you might get a feedback that why the search isn't there. So that's the extent to which search is required. So so again, just reiterating, it's the easiest way to get what you want. Users find search as a natural and easiest way to interact with lots of data, right, and manage lots of data. And search is really a hard problem. It's rarely the core expertise of the developers like us. And from the infrastructure standpoint as well, we have to manage a lot of things, like it has to be available, it has to be durable, it has to scale out. And from a functionality standpoint, you have to do ranking, that how would the results be indexed, or how they would be ranked. And what if a user enters any incorrect data or a malicious data? You have to handle the input and all those things, right? So all these things actually make search a difficult problem to solve. So we don't need to worry, because Microsoft Azure provides a tool or a service that makes searching more or less a very easy thing to do. So what is Azure Cognitive Search? So Azure Cognitive Search is a search as a service solution which allows developers to incorporate great search experiences in web, mobile, and enterprise applications without needing to manage infrastructure or needing to become search experts. You don't need to become a search expert. And the great thing about this is that it comes with many artificial intelligent enrichments. That's what it is listed as, AI enrichment. So you can search images and videos out of the box. So that's why if you have any image or any video, and if you make use of the right artificial enrichment pipeline, then you should be able to search the images and videos as well in without needing any extra line of code. So before we go any further, I just want to demonstrate the power of Azure Cognitive Search by going to a well-known, it's an old but a great demo of what Azure Cognitive Search can do. So for that, I will just navigate to this site called JFK Files. So the URL is this. Okay. So let me just navigate to this JFK Files. right? So if I browse to this, this is how this demo application. This is the demo application that is created by the Azure Cognitive Search team itself to demonstrate the capabilities of Azure Cognitive Search, right? So if you see here, so these are the President JFK's assassination files which were declassified, and so I'll just search for Oswald. That's the default text that comes in the text box, and just click on search. And when I say so, you see that on the left side there is a text which I typed there, so it's Oswald, and on the right you see that we have a bunch of results showing up. So we have it's like a typewriter written page, right? So there it has detected Oswald and it has highlighted that also. So it is detected as well as highlighted. So that's highlighting is one feature. Then if I go below, you see it's a handwritten text, and in that also it was able to detect in this handwriting that Oswald is writing, and it has again highlighted it. If I come down below, you see an image. So this appears to be Oswald, and this image is tagged, so it is able to search image. So we have seen a printed text, we have seen a handwritten note, we have seen an image, and again a handwritten note here for Oswald, and so on and so forth. So you can just keep on going. It will just all these results are there. At the bottom, what I see is that there are a bunch of results. So it has done the paging as well. So we have pages 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. On the left, if I see, it tells me that total results for Oswald were 857. So it is giving me the number of search counts as well. And then it has tagging as well, that if I want to find Oswald's and that has John F. Kennedy or Central Intelligence Agency, and I have 831. If I have to see documents, then I have 811. So we see some faceted navigation as well. So all of this is there, that shows the might of it. And if you want to, if you're interested in knowing the architecture of how it is working, you just click on this icon, and you will see the high level architecture. It tells us that these are the documents, and for finding out the more information, you can click on this hyperlink. And this is a high level architecture where they have kept the files. Then there are Azure functions which have the cognitive skill sets. Then you have custom skills. Then this is the Azure Search, and you have data being ingested in the Cosmos DB. And then they have a web app which is using this Azure Search, and then you have Azure Machine Learning, which is training it on the topics. And if you want to find the entire source code, you can also find it here by just clicking this one. So that's a great demo for the Azure Search service. I just wanted to briefly touch upon it. Now with the Azure Search handle, we'll jump back to our slide, right? So, right. So few of the features that we see is that Azure Cognitive Search offers, one is the autocomplete or type ahead, which I did not show, so I can quickly show it now. So for example, if I go to this search page and I just try to type in OS, right? So if you see, it is giving us a bunch of suggestions, which are like type ahead or suggestions, which is Oswald, Oswald's, Oscar, OSI, and bunch of others. So this is the type ahead feature which it offers. So that's what I'm trying to say. So autocomplete or type ahead. Then we saw the faceted navigation where we had tags coming up. Then we can filter the data. Then we saw that the Oswald was highlighted. So that's the hit highlighting. We can sort the results. We can have the results appear at top or at the bottom. So that sorting is there. We saw the paging. And then there are other features like geo search, relevance, and it's enterprise ready. So these are a few of the great features which Azure Cognitive Search offers. And another question that comes is, okay, so we have seen the power of Azure Cognitive Search, but how to use it? So the even greater thing about this Azure Cognitive Search is that it is, though it brings up such a great proposition on the table, it's not very difficult. It's in fact very easy to use it. So on a broad at a broad level, if I have to say, there are only two main components to be used. So on the Azure side or on the server side, we provision a search service. So that's what is the first thing, Azure Cognitive Search. That's the first thing. So first we need to have something to be searched. So that something to be searched is the data source. In our case, this is going to be our documents, which I said can be Word, or PowerPoint or PDF. So that is going to be, they are going to be, stored in some data source. It can be a Azure storage account, it can be a database, it can be Cosmos DB. So there are multiple sources which I'll show. So that are the data sources. And then we create indexers and indexes. So indexer will actually ingest that data and do the indexing. And we'll see this live, so I'll not go much into this. So that's on the server side. And on the client side, what you need to do is, for developers, it is a simple REST API client. So this is a service. So service is like an API. And to consume it, all you need is just a simple REST API client. Easy to use SDK. And, all you need to do is, in your C# application, there's a NuGet package called azure.search.documents. And you just run it. You will get all the APIs and all the models that are needed to consume this search. And we can just invoke that search API with the search term. The API will search it and it will return a response. And using this easy to use SDK, we can parse it and display the result. So that is how easy it is. It is the search has for us become an easy problem, that you just invoke an API, get the result, parse it, and display it. So that is one aspect. Now we have covered the Azure Cognitive Search, how to use it in a little bit more detail. So what we do is, we first provision the search service in Azure, and then we create index. So index, think of it as a list of fields and their configuration. For example, if you are searching a person, then person will have name, age, sex, and all the different details, all the different attributes about that person. So what all things you want to be indexed? Like, do you want the name to be indexed? You want the age to be indexed? You want his address, location? So all those things, whether you want them to be, whether you want it to be searched, whether it has to appear as a suggestion, whether it has to be playing a part in sorting of data, or whether it has to be faceted, all these things can be done while creating the index. So there are various data types that can be used for index, like string, int, double, datetime, boolean, geopoint. So there are many other type of data types that can be used, and these can be single valued, or they can be collections. So you provision a service, you create an index, then what? Then you have to have the data on which this index has to be created. So you load the data. So in our case, this loading of data would be on the documents, right? And once you load the data from the data source, basically an indexer is there that would run on that data source and populate these indexes. So we have created indexes that we want to search the person. We should be able to search the name. We should be able to search the maybe a picture, his location, all those things. Then you load the data, and there would be an indexer which would actually which will run through those documents and then populate this index. And once that is done, we are ready to search. So we can test and keep on fine-tuning our results till our search results are as per our requirement. So just a brief overview of a high-level working of the Azure Cognitive Search. So basically, this one slider actually explains at a very high level how the Azure Search Cognitive Search can be leveraged. So we have a customer data that can be PDF, a document, a JPEG, pptx, docx, you name it, right? And then you do a document checking, and then you have a cognitive skill pipeline, right? So it is extensible enrichment pipeline. So it can, the one which I said as the artificial intelligence enrichment. So there are various out of the box cognitive skills available, like OCR, which is the optical character reader. Then key phrase extraction, we can extract the people names, the company names, the sentiment analyzer. Suppose if a tweet comes, whether it's a positive sentiment or a negative sentiment, all these things comes out of the box. And computer vision. So using computer vision, you can find out, you can detect humans, detect images, detect the text and all those things. And then there are other third-party enrichers which you can, put up there. So Once it passes through this pipeline, you will get a set of annotated documents. Then those are indexed, and then finally you can search those index. So that's a pretty 30,000 feet view of how the Azure Cognitive Search works. Right. In the interest of time, we'll move further. We have taken about 23 minutes, and we need to be coding. So next, we'll move from search. We'll move on to the chat bot. Why do we need chat bot? So one question, another, which will come to everyone's mind is that why do we want to use the chatbot? So in a chatbot, essentially you are interacting with the computer. You are typing in the chat, but on the other side, it's not a human who is responding. It's a computer or it's a program that is responding back to you. So trust me, natural human to computer interaction, that's the USP of chat, because it's like you are talking to someone and someone is responding to you. So it's simply because it's more natural and human, human to human interaction. Like, even though it's a human to computer interaction, it appears like a natural human to computer, human to human interaction. So it's more appealing, it's more efficient, and it's more easy. So that's why. So here on the right, you see, a demo of chat that we have all done. When you use WhatsApp, we are doing the chat with someone we know is existing, right? So you can simulate the same with the bot, right? You can just talk to certain things. It might not understand, so it might just give you a unfavorable response. But it's like a natural interaction, just like you are doing. So now they are used extensively in shopping, in support areas, or in answering few things. So all of these places you can find very easily. Now again, so bots are good, but it looks like it would be seeing this interaction that you are typing something, it has to understand, and then it has to respond. It again appears to be a difficult problem. So worry no more. Why? Because what is a bot technically? So technically, bot is nothing but just a REST service. Just like Azure Search Service was an API for us, think of a bot again as just a REST service. It's a REST service hosted anywhere. It can be deployed on your laptop, my laptop, or on cloud, maybe in Azure or AWS. The only thing is that there can be so many channels in which bots may be needed. For example, right now I'm going to demonstrate it on Teams, but we have so many other channels, like in a web application. Suppose I go to amazon.com and write amazon.in in India, and I want to query about my order. So the first thing that will happen is that web chat is one platform. Then if I go to Skype, I may want to have the same experience in Skype, or on Slack, or on Facebook, WhatsApp. So we have so many different mediums on which the bot may have to work, and each of these channels have a different way of handling this. So it will be a difficult proposition for one developer to to manage these REST APIs or REST service to work with all of these different channels. So for that, we need a sort of a translation service which knows how Slack works, or how Teams work, or how Skype works, and it just takes up the same REST service and works well with these channels. So that is where Microsoft Azure Bot Service comes into picture. So what Microsoft Azure Bot Service does is it actually enables, it abstracts all these difficulties away from the developer. It does all the hard part of translating your messages to a different platform or to the different channels, and this is exactly why our bot must be registered with Microsoft Azure Bot Service. So we'll see this. We'll do this in a little while. So again, search is a service. Bot essentially is just a REST service. Okay. So now how to create bots? It's a REST service, all right, but I still have to create it. So there is a tool which Microsoft provides that's called Microsoft Bot Framework. So what is it? It is just tools for building REST websites. Okay. So it has mechanisms for receiving the events when a user is added to a conversation, or when user is typing, or when user is sending a message, or when user is gets disconnected. All these events, it is able to it abstracts all these complexities away from us, and it also provides us data to debug and tools to analyze the bot. And why we should use the Microsoft bot framework might be another question that may come to your mind. So first thing is that, it first and foremost thing is that it implements the protocols. So you are assured that tomorrow, if there is going to be some change, you won't have to make any change in your code, because or either the bot framework will do it for you, or you might just have to do some minor stuff. So it implements the standard protocol. So that's number thing. Secondly, think about it. When we talk, when two humans interact, then they are talking something. Then one person, whatever one person is speaking to the other has to understand it and then respond on top of it. So that understanding and then respond, modeling that kind of conversation is not easy. It's a hard problem to solve. So these tools would actually help. It has built-in support for handling these things. And then, as I said, understanding of language is a hard problem. So there is Lewis and everything, which actually helps in such cases, right? And with that, how would we use the bot framework with Visual Studio 2019? It's just a small, high-level overview of how to use the bot framework with Visual Studio 2019. So Bot Builder V4 is at present the latest and greatest SDK template that I found. It's available in C#, JavaScript, Python, Java. So if you are a C# developer or a JavaScript developer or a Python or a Java developer, you are all covered. You have the template by which you can create the bot. For Visual Studio, we work on extensions. So there's an extension available in the Visual Studio Marketplace, which I will be showing in a little while. But it's called Bot Builder 4. This extension, once you install, you will get few created templates. So one is the EcoBot, which is the one which, by the way, we will be using in this hands-on exercise. So what it does is, if you type hi, it will just respond it back. It's just like echo. So if you type hi, it will reply back hi. If you say hello, it will reply back hello. So it's just EcoBot. So this is the one which we will be using. Then there's an empty bot. So empty bot is just a basic skeleton of the bot. This template just contains the basic skeleton of the bot. So if once you are well versed of how to use the different classes and the different aspects of the bot framework, that's when I would recommend this. And again, a core bot is the core functionality that any of the bot can have. Again, it's for the advanced users. So right now we'll be using EcoBot in a short while. Finally, since we are going to develop, our bot on Teams, and Teams, Teams, I know that we all know about it since, in this pandemic, Teams has taken over the world like a storm, right? And so most of the organizations today are using Teams. So Microsoft Teams is the ultimate messaging app for organizations. It's a workspace for real-time collaboration and communication, meetings, file, and app sharing. So this is where we will be developing our bot. So just a quick high-level overview of it. Now, just like any other Microsoft product, Microsoft Teams also provide various extensibility points. And these are just few. So you can add a tab, you can have messaging extensions, you can have adaptive cards, activity feed, connectors, or bots, right? These are the various extensibility points for the Microsoft Teams. So essentially, if you see here, this is Microsoft Teams. It talks to the Azure bot service, and this bot web service is built using Bot Builder SDK, right? And it can be talking to the external web service to get the data. So this, our external web service, is going to be the search service. Then there is going to be our bot, and then there is going to be a Teams app. So this is basically a high-level architecture of how our solution would be. Okay, and few more nitty-gritties. When we develop the Teams application, we will come across various scopes. So when you talk, when you are joined to a team, then you can add an app in a Teams channel. So that's the Teams scope. When you are in a group conversation where one or in a group or in one-to-one chat, that is one scope, group conversation in which you can create an app for, or in a personal scope. So it's that app can only be accessed by the individual user. So these are the different scopes that are available, and we will see that while creating our app. But it's just good to know before we dive in there. So And how actually a Teams app looks like. Again, so just to take out the just to take out the fizz out of if it's any difficult thing or it's a simple thing. So just like any other Visual Studio extension or Office extension, it's again just a zip thing. It's just easy to create with App Studio. You can in Teams you can go to the apps and search for App Studio, and from there we can easily create a app. So it will create a zip file. Zip file comprises of just three things. It's basically a zip file. It will have a manifest.json, which is shown here. So it's a zip file, number one. It will have a manifest.json and few icons. That is all any Teams app would have. So that's how we would be creating a Teams app as well. We'll see it live in in just about 5-10 minutes from now. So what we can do with this app is that we can upload it for ourselves, for our personal use, or we can share it with our team, or we can publish it to the enterprise app catalog. So it will be available to all the users, to our of our company, or it can be published to the team store. So it would be available to the all the Teams user. So we can do any of these, right? And with that, the theory part of this session is more or less done. So we'll move on. We'll just recap what was our session objective. And our session objective is to develop a Microsoft Teams search bot to search the contents of documents. And this is going to be the high level architecture of the solution that we are going to create. So our problem is to search the contents of document. Those documents, think about it, that they are placed in this SharePoint document library, and I want to search what is placed there. So what I will be doing is I will be either using a console app or a logic app to put these documents from the SharePoint library my Azure storage account, right? And then I will have cognitive services applied on it. So these would be indexed, and then Azure Search would be able to search these documents. And then on top of it would be my bot developed via Microsoft Bot Framework. So this bot would be talking to the Azure Search service, and this bot will be interacting with the teams. So any user who would come, he would come to the team, he would see an app, he would type in his text to be searched. It will go to the Microsoft Bot Framework. Microsoft Bot Framework will pass on this text to the Azure Search Service. Now, Search Service has already indexed all the data, so it will see if there are results matching that search text. If it matches, it will return that text back to the bot, and bot will relay it back to the Teams app, so the user will see it. If it doesn't find, it will return that no match is found. Again, it will relay it back to the Microsoft bot, the bot that we'll be developing, and then it will relay it back to the app, which we'll be seeing on the Teams. So this is pretty much a very simple, Teams app talking to a couple of services in sequence. First the bot service, and then the search service. So we'll begin with, our document. So we'll take our documents first step, and then those documents will be placed in the Azure storage account. Then we will be creating a Azure Search Service to index those documents. Then we will be creating a bot, and then finally we will be registering that bot with the bot service, and then it will be available in the Teams as an app, and then we will be doing the search. So we have about next 20-25 minutes. We should be able to do it. So before I jump into the code, there are a few technical prerequisites to be met. So first and foremost, since it's all about Azure, so you do need an Azure subscription. If you don't have an Azure subscription, worry not. You can get a free trial. If you go to the azure.com, and you can get a free trial. And I've also given the URL where you can get that free Azure subscription to get started. Then second thing you would need is, since you can do it on Visual Studio Code as well, but I am going to use Visual Studio 2019 with latest updates for this one. So this Visual Studio can be found from this URL. Then we would be needing the bot framework version 4 SDK template extension. So that I will show how to download, but that again would be in Visual Studio Marketplace. You can also download it directly from the Visual Studio ID that I will be showing in a little while. And then since it's going to be a Microsoft Teams app, so you need Microsoft Teams as well. For testing, we would be using bot emulator. So, bot emulator can be, can be downloaded from here. I have an older version since this deck was done prior to that. And but you can take the latest one going to this bot framework emulator and take the latest release. NGRock, it's a great tool. It's like, if whatever you have on your local machine, if you want to expose it to the world over internet, then you can make use of NGRock. It's only used for debugging, here. So right now I won't be able to show it today, but do explore if you don't know about NGRock. NGRock is a great tool to have in your toolkit. And finally, you need a SharePoint document library or OneDrive folder and or an on-premises file share. In my case, I'm going to use just not this one. Okay, I will be using, I have about these three documents. One is the pptx, which is the same slides which I'm going through. It's the slide which I'm going through right now. So it's the same slide pptx. Then I have one book, that Parallel Programming with C# and .NET Core. So this is the PDF. And then I have another one, which is, one of the side projects which I worked on. So these are the three things which I want to index. So I've already, these are the first things which I will first be going and uploading into my storage account. So if you see here right now, what I have done is, this is my Azure subscription, my live, it's my personal Azure subscription, and I have just created a storage account. Okay, and in that storage account, I have a blob storage, and in blob storage, I have already put up these three files there. One is, if you see, the extension is pptx. I just did it this morning. So one is pptx, and one is PDF, and another one is also PDF. So these are the three files which I am going to search. And mind you, only in this one, meds is there in that image of the book. So we are going to search for meds after this is done. So this is the first step, that the documents have to upload to the blob storage. So you can do it via any a scheduled program or a console application or a logic app or any other thing. There are various ways of solving this problem. So you just need to have a blob client, right? And then you can storage account first, and then from the storage account you can just upload it to the right blob. So right storage account. So once these files are uploaded, these are the ones which we want to search, right? So to do that, what I'll do is, we need to create a Azure cognitive search, right? So once I do it, you will see in the marketplace Azure cognitive search. Okay, so I'll just go there. It's a new Azure search. So it will ask you for a few mandatory things. So first is the resource group. So I have already created one for the global conference, Azure Global Conference. So this is the one I'll use. And then service name. So service name, you can give whatever one you like. So like, for example, demo search. Demo search bot, and it's available. And then, you have to choose the location. Since I am in India, I would try to choose something which is nearer to me. So I'll choose Central India, as I am in Central India right now. And then you have various pricing tiers to work with. So pricing tiers are important, but for this demo purpose, I can't use free because I've already used one, and in one subscription you only get one free. So I'll choose a basic one. So if you see, it has, what offering does it have is, it gives you number of indexes and number of indexes that you can use, as well as the maximum storage that you get with it. On the right is the important thing to worry about, because on the right side is the money that will go out from your pocket. So So you have to be very conscious in choosing the pricing tier that you choose. So I'm choosing this basic tier because I will be deleting it immediately after the demo. And the concept here is of there's a concept of search unit here. So replicas and partitions. So one replica and one partition constitutes one search unit. So that's why if you will see in this one, we have 3 replicas and 1 partition. So it's 3 search unit. Here you get 12 replicas and 12 partitions, and it is 36 search units. So that way, so for the time being, I'll just create the basic one. Okay. And then if I go to the scaling, so it tells me that it will cost me this much. Okay. And if I go to the networking, it's available on public. I can give some tags, which I am not giving right now. And then you can just go review and create. If the validation is successful, which it is, I can go ahead and click on create. It will create the search service. It will take about a couple of minutes to create the search service. So right now it shows that deployment is in progress. Right, as soon as the deployment would be done, it will say that the deployment finished successfully. Navigate to the resource. So it shouldn't take that long, so I'll just give it a minute or so. While this is going on, let me show you. I'll just wait. I think I don't want to do the context switch to the bot right now, so I'll just wait. So yeah, it's done. So I will now go to the resource. Right. So if I go here, important things which I want to show you here is that either you can go and create index all by yourself. So here, if I do index, I can put a name, then I have to provide the key, then I have to put the field name and mark there are various columns to be added, like retrievable. So whether this field would be retrievable or not, whether this would be used for filtering, this field would be used for filtering the data or the results, whether this field is sortable, facetable, or searchable. So so these are the things which shows up. Okay, but rather than doing that, what I'm going to do is I'll take an easy way out, which Azure provides. So I'll go to import data. So when I go to import data, it tells me an option of data source. So it has various options like Azure SQL database. So you can have the structured data or SQL servers on Azure VMs. So if you have databases on VMs placed, or you have Cosmos DB, or a blob storage, or table storage, or SharePoint Online as well. So it's a preview thing, SharePoint Online. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Azure blob storage. So when I choose Azure blob storage, it will ask me to provide a source name. So I give it as docx. So then it says that what all data you want to extract. So I say both content as well as metadata. Parsing mode I have kept as default, and I'll choose an existing connection string. So here, if I see, this is my box, this is my storage account, and this is the this is the container in which my 3 documents are placed. So I'll select this one. After I do that, I can just say add cognitive skills. Okay, so what it will do is at this point of time, what it is doing is a lot of things. And these are all abstracted from the developers, that it will create an indexer, it will create the index for me, and it will present the index for me immediately after this. So it will do some validation, it will import the data, it will run. So it has, if you see, index schema detected, index schema successfully detected from data source, continue import configuration by customizing the index. So now it provides me an opportunity to customize the index. So here I can do, I will here leverage free limited enrichment because I am not doing anything special, but you can always go and create, new enrichments. So for the purpose right now, I won't do it. Okay, but these are the cognitive skills that you want to add. Now add enrichment if you want to do, right? So this is what it is. So it has by default created a skill set name Azure blob hyphen skill set. So here I have to enable OCR. So if you want optical character recognition, so whatever is written in the images to be searched, then you have to enable this. And then is asking me for few out of the box things. So from all these documents, do I want to extract people names? If I want to, I should select this. If I want to extract organization names, I should put this. Do I want to extract location names? Then I have to tick this. If you want to extract key phases, languages, and other stuff, that you can check here. And you have do you want to generate text from images, generate captions from images, identify celebrities from images? You see such a lot of things out of the box, right? So all of these things, depending upon your need, you can do. After I do that, it will take me to the customize index screen, where what I can do is I can just go and this is the index that it is going to create, Azure blob hyphen index, right? It has a key as path, metadata storage path. Now this is the index that it has created by default. See, a lot of fields have been added, otherwise you would have to do all of this by yourself. It has done all of it. It has so now it's up to you what all things you want to be retrievable, filterable, sortable, facetable, or searchable. So for searchable, I want the content to be searchable. I want name to be searchable as well, so that I can just and I think rest it has already done. The people it has already identified, locations. So depending upon the of depending upon your requirement, you may want to do extra, right? So with that I'll just create an indexer. So it will create an indexer for me, and you can schedule whether it has to run once, it has to run hourly, daily, or any other custom in any other custom schedule that you want to set. So right now I'm just doing it once, and I'll just say submit, right? So what it will do is it will create it is doing a lot of stuff. It has created skills, it has created index, it has created indexer, it has done a bunch of things, all abstracted from the developer, and once it is done it will notify me. Right. So import successfully configured. Click here to monitor the indexer progress. So now indexing is in progress to in those three. So it's showing that indexer is in progress. Once it is done, I should see documents there. I should see the documents succeeded here. So again, it will take few seconds, not more than that. So let's give it some time. In a short while, this should be done. Right. So if I see here, right now it says success, and it has already indexed the documents. Now with that, if I want to just test it, I can go to the indexes. Okay. Then I see the Azure Blob index is there, and there if I go and I just say, for example, I want to search for, so one of my books is on threading, and in threading we have a concept called semaphore. So let me see if it is able to find that for me. So I've just put semaphore, and I'm just doing a search on it, and you see it is able to find the parallel programming with C# and .NET Core, because semaphore is there, it was able to find it. Let me do one more. Let me try to do for mutex, right? So this is the tester, right within there. You don't have to create any client. Again, it is able to identify the same stuff. Now there was one article which was on Kinect. So let me see if it's able to search that. So Kinect was a tool. I developed a side project, and that PDF connect contains the word Kinect. So let me search for it, and again, it side project turns Kinect into virtual seeing dog. So it's able to identify it right off the box. So with this, we know that whatever has been done so far, it's working properly. Now here, if you see at the top, you see create demo app. So you just click on that, create demo app. Okay, and just click on create demo app. And here you can customize what you want to return. So if I say just return content and just return, maybe text, and just create demo app and download, and it will give you an HTML which is ready to be used right away. So if I just search for Kinect here, Did it ask for the? I'm sorry. Okay, so I'll just type in some other thing. See, I think it asked for course thing. That dialog did not come, so that's why it's unable to make the request. I think right now it's failing because it did not ask for a course stuff. So just a second. Okay, so it says that course must be enabled, but it did not show. So this dialog seems to have changed. What happens is that we have to enable CORS for this to work. So cross origin request, they have to be. So right now it's because it's in my local, it's unable to go there. But no worries, it's working. That we have seen in the Search Explorer itself when we typed in few stuff and we were able to see them. So so we know that this is working. So now our search service is ready. Now we need to create a bot. To create a bot, what we will do is, first thing is we need a template for it. To create a template, we'll go to the Visual Studio 2019 and go to the extensions. That's what I've done. So I need to switch to Visual Studio first so that you can see it. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on extensions, and then I'm going to click on manage extensions. Okay. So when I do that, it will open the extensions. Oops, there seems to be some issue with my Visual Studio. Okay, so here just search for, here we just need to search for bot builder. Okay, so when I search for it, I just need to search for bot, and it will show me bot builder v4 SDK templates for Visual Studio. So since I have already installed it, I will not be installing it. I'll be directly going to file, new, project, right? And this will show me a create new project dialog. I hope it's visible. If not, let me just try to bring this at the top. So I hope this file new dialog is visible. So here I will be selecting the AI bots, and then it will present me with a bunch of bot templates. So I need to select the EcoBot framework v4, right? So this is the EcoBot framework v4 for .NET Core 3.1. This is the one I'll select and click on next. So now I just name it as Azure Global Conf Demo. Okay, and just say create. And once it is done, right, so now my project is created. So let me just quickly show you. It's just, as I said, it's just a REST API. So if you know about the REST APIs, it would appear very similar. So just like any other program, program.cs is the entry point of this application. It has a static void of main, which creates a host builder. So this create host builder actually does nothing but just configures the web host with the default values, web builder with the default values. It says that use startup as the startup file. So when I go to the startup, right, this is the place where you will see a classic ASP.NET Core related stuff like configure services and configure method, right? And here, if you see, there are only two dependency injections that I see. One is for the iBot framework HTTP handler and another of iBot. So these are the only two dependency injections there. And if I go further in the thing, I see one app settings, which is nothing else but simple settings for the application and deployment. And then this is that adapter with error handler. So this will come into picture once we have an error. In case of error, it is logging an exception. Okay. And then it is also sending a message back to the client that the bot encountered an error or a bug. To continue to run this bot, please fix the bot source code. So it tells in case of any error, it will return that this message to your bot. So while you are running or testing your application and you run into any issues, this means that some error has occurred in your bot. And then we have controller, which is just the bot controller. So here the two dependency injections that we saw, they are passed to this bot controller, and any request that will come to it, it will directly post it to the adapter's process async method, and it will take up a request and the bot thing and return the response. So this is essentially what is doing the stuff, and our bot resides here. This is the EcoBot. So EcoBot, if you see, it's just implementing a class called activity handler, which is available in Microsoft.bot.builder, right? And here you see there are only two messages. One is on messages activity async and one is on members added async. So this on members added async is called whenever a member is added to a conversation. So whenever I will join any conversation, I will see. So let me modify this message and say, hello and welcome to Global Azure Conference 2021, right? So that's the first thing. And this is the one, what it is doing is it will, this is the turn context which we get. And then it has another thing called cancellation token. So cancellation token, as we know, is meant for canceling the stuff. And turn context is the thing which has a property called activity, right? And it has a property called text. So this will tell you the text that the user who is interacting with this bot has typed. And whatever it comes, it is just creating a reply text by appending echo to it. So the reply text would be whatever text user has typed, echo, and then it is just sending it back. So if I just run it, it is a working bot in itself right now. Okay. So you see it has started building. So we'll need another 10 minutes to finish. I know we are about, we are already 1 hour into this, but we'll need another 10 minutes to finish the demo. But I want to complete the exact details part of it, and since it would be recorded, you can always come back later and see it. But for the sake of doing it correctly and completely, I want to spend some more time to it. So if you see here, this is the page that will come up. It is a localhost 3978, and it says your bot is ready. Okay, and to test your bot in the bot emulator, you can test your bot in the bot emulator by connecting to this URL. So I'll just copy paste this URL. Okay. And if you don't have the bot emulator, you can download the emulator by clicking on this one. I already provided the link in the deck, but you can always do it from here. So I have this emulator. So what I'll do is I'll go to the bot emulator. So let me just switch my screens to the bot emulator. So now my bot emulator should be visible, I hope. Right. So this is the bot emulator. And if I go to the open bot, right, and I just type in the copied URL and say connect, right? So you see here, it shows the message as hello and welcome to Global Azure Conference. Now if I type in hi, right? So the bot echoes back by saying hi. If I say hello, right? So it will respond back saying hello. So see, so we now see that our bot is actually working. It is getting the text that we are typing and it is responding with the same one. Now what we need to do is we need to pass this text to our search service and get the result and display it here. So that's the only problem that we need to tackle. And to tackle that, we will go back to our Visual Studio and we will code the client for our search service so that we can pass on this text to our search service and get the data back. So for that, I'll switch back to my Visual Studio again. This is my Visual Studio. And now, in the interest of time, what I have done is I have already got the snippets right here. So first thing I'll do is I'll go to the app settings, and in the app settings, I will insert few things. So there's a search name, there's a search key, and the search index. So I'll just show how to get these. So if I go back to my search Azure search service, if I go to the demo search bot, right, and if I go to so this is the search service name, okay, and this is the search service URL from here. Then to get the keys, we get two admin keys. So one is the primary admin key, one is the secondary admin key, and then we get query keys. So these are the query keys. So I will be using one of these query keys, and then to get the index name, go to the indexes, and you can create multiple indexes. So the one which you want is the Azure blob -index. So this is the name of my index. So these three things are what we need to use. So if I go back to my Visual Studio, right, I have put up these values already. This is for a different one, and I'll switch back to my startup class. In the startup class, I want to be reading these app settings, so I will write some code to directly read these things. Okay. So this is my code to read those three values, and finally these are the placeholders for it. And then here is where I will actually be reading those from the app settings. So using configuration, right? So what I'm doing is my search name from the configuration I have read in this variable, my search key from configuration I have read in this variable, my search index name I have read into this variable. So with this, I'm done with the changes on my startup and app settings. Now I'll switch on to the EcoBot code. So right now what it is doing is it is getting this text and returning the same back. We don't want that. We want to take this text and pass it to our search service. So first we need to install the search service. To install the search service, we need to call the search service. To call the search service, what we need to do is we need to install the NuGet package which I talked about a short while, and that is called as Azure .search .documents, right? So this is the one, and I'll just install the latest table. So give it a minute to get it installed. Right, while it is so it's installed for me. So I'll go back to my EcoBot, and I already have a code to get the search client. So I'll just double click on this and get it here. So this is the code that I will need to get the client. So all I need to do is I need to resolve few types. So I have to I have to import few using namespaces. So that's what I'm doing. And I also need to have Azure key credentials. So I will resolve it via this. So now I have this method to call the search client. So how do we call the search client? It's a very simple method. So first thing is the endpoint which I need to hit. So I have got the search service name. .search.windows.net will give me the complete URI. So first I get the URI of my search service. Then I need to have credentials. So for that credential, I told you to get the query key. So this is where that is what I have passed to my query key. And then to get the search client, I passed this service endpoint. I passed the index name. The index name which I said was the Azure blob hyphen index. So that is here. So that, and then the credential. So this will give me the right client. And after that, whatever text is coming here, I need to pass it to the search service and get the result. So I'll do Control K, Control C. I've commented the existing code and I will paste the code to work for with our search service. So I'll just resolve a couple of missing namespaces and that's it. So what I'm doing is I'll just quickly tell you before I run the code. So what I'm doing is instead of the simple string of the reply text, I'm building a string builder. Then I'm getting the input text by the same way, turn context.activity.text. I'm just trimming it just in case someone types white spaces, so it will trim it. So I get the input text. Then I have called my get search client method to get the client. And then I want to simulate that while it is, while the call is going to my search service, I want to keep my user engaged. I want to keep him as if someone is doing something. So I want to show a typing activity during that time, that someone is trying to type. So that's why I have created one typing activity, and I am sending it back so that while Azure would be while it will be searching the documents, you will get a feeling that someone is typing in the chat. And then what I have is that I am just calling the client which I have got here and invoking a call called search, and this will actually passing in the input text. So this is a search document, is a dictionary. Basically it will have key and value, and it will return me the responses like this. And then iterating through each of these results of this response, I will append the path property of the document in my reply text. And if the and then I convert that builder to string. If I don't get any search text, that is, here I'm checking if the search text got anything, fair enough. If it didn't get anything, then I just append to it that no match was found. And finally, I'm sending all of this back to my caller. So with this, I'll just run it one more time. Excuse me. So it's building right now. So just give a minute or so. So we are almost there. It's once it is done, we will publish it to Azure, and then we will move on towards the team app. So it's the part 2 of the 3-part stuff that we are doing. Okay, so now if I go back, if I go to my, so I've just built it, and if I go to my you know this this stuff to my browser, it says that my bot is again ready. So it's built and it's ready. So now I will go back to my emulator and see if I'm able to get the search results, right? So what I'll do is I'll go to my emulator, and for that I need to switch to emulator. Somehow it's not switching. So that's another thing that comes up. So where is my emulator? So that's one pain, to navigate to the emulator in this OBS Studio. All right. So what I'll do is, rather than going there, I'll try to show it to you via. Where's my emulator gone? It's not showing up in the. It's not showing up in the list of things to be shown. That's strange. Okay, is my emulator? Okay, let me just try one more time. Yeah, I got it finally. So yeah, so this is my emulator now. So in the emulator, I'll again go and open this port, and this is the one, and I'll say connect. Okay, so here I'll now say hi. Okay, so now this hi should go all the way to my search service, and you see this is actually giving me some results. So it found hi somewhere. So let me just try for semaphore here, right? So let me just go and find semaphore here. Perfect. So if you see here, I typed semaphore and I got this URL. If I click on this, so if I go there and I'll show you, so this has found the right stuff. Okay, I think there is some issue in displaying it to you. If I try to display Microsoft Edge, it is not showing up. I think something is wrong with Microsoft Edge. Okay, so what I'm trying to show is that this URL actually returned the right result. This is the right result for semaphore because this is the URL to my PDF file. This is my book. So right. So now our bot is ready and we are ready to publish it to Azure. So what I'll do is I'll quickly, in the interest of time, publish it to Azure, and then we'll move on to our app. Right. So how we'll publish it is simple. We'll just say right click and just say publish. Okay, click select Azure, click next, say app service for Windows, and I'll just publish it, right? So interest of time, I've already published it, and we are ready to go to the Teams app. So I'll move to the Teams one. So I'll quickly move to our Team stuff. Our bot is published in Azure. Now let me quickly switch to Microsoft Teams. Okay, so there you have it. So that's my Microsoft Teams. So in the Teams, the first thing that we need to do is in Teams is that we need to download an app called App Studio. So which I already have downloaded, but I'm telling you how to do it. So you click on the app at the bottom here. Okay, you'll see stuff called apps. Click on apps and then search for App Studio. So you will see a result called App Studio. Click on it, and then if you have not added, it will tell you to add it, but since I have already added, it's asking me to open, so I'll open it. So once you have it installed, you will get an option for manifest editor, and there you will get once you go to the manifest editor, you will get three options. One is import an existing app, another is bot management, and another is create a new app. So I'll click on create a new app, and then it will provide me with a bunch of things. So I'll say ask for the short name, so I'll say global Azure conference. Okay, and I'll type the conf demo what. So this is what I will generate to generate a new app ID for this application. Description it wants, so I'll just say demo bot for global Azure conference 2021. Okay, I'll copy paste the same thing here. They ask for developer information, so I will happily provide my name and my URL. Okay. So now next thing it asks for is few other mandatory fields are the privacy statements and the terms of use. Right now I'll just provide a valid URL. You can provide your branding images here, like full color image, transparent outline, and an accent color. But for now I'm just skipping it. Next we'll move directly to the bot and click on the setup, right? When I click on this bot setup, well, it will ask me for an existing bot. So either I can select one of the existing bots or I can create one. So here I'll show you how to create one. So I'll name it as uh, global Azure conf bot. So our app service right now has just been published to Azure. It is not registered with the bot channel. So this is actually that stuff that we are trying to do. So I've put global Azure conference bot demo. I've just put it like this so that it is unique and it's available. And scope I am giving is all of these. Okay. So it will take a while to generate it. So while that is happening, what I will do is I'll pick up the URL of my app service because that would be needed in the next step. Okay. So now I think my team's stuff is done. So it's asking me for the messaging endpoint. So the messaging endpoint for my case is API slash messages. So this I have given. Remember to add this API messages to it. So once you are done with it and click next, you will get a right thing if it is validated successfully, which it is in our case. So now we will go to directly test and distribute. There are other things, and then I'll click on install. Okay, I think we missed. Okay, so I need to go out. Yeah, and I need to generate password one more time. So this will be the password which will be available only once. So ensure that you copy it correctly. Okay. So and once this password is copied, we need to paste it back in our app ID and password section. The app settings, if I go to the app ID and password, so this is the password, right? And app ID you will get from the and app ID you will get from here. So app ID is this. App ID is this. So this is your app ID. Okay, that's it. So after doing this, you have to publish your. I'll just paste it here, and I have to publish it one more time before it can be used. So I'll just paste this here. Okay, and once I'm done with this, I need to publish my app one more time. So that I'm doing right now. Okay. So once that is done, the publish is running in the background. So once that is done, now if I go and click on my test and distribute and click on install, I think there is some issue happening. So for some reason the parsing is failing. So let me just try and reduce. I think this is, yeah, I think now it should be all right. Oh, So there is something wrong with the. Just a second. I'll try one quick time. I think there's some error in the bot parsing here. So let me just try and fix it, and we should have our bot working. So let me just see where I have. So I'll generate it one more time, and this is, oh, I did not provide the full description here, and that is what is failing my parser. Okay, with this, I think we should be good. I think this is fine. Then I go to the bot. Bot is added, password is created, commands are added. If I go to the finish tab now and click on test and distribute, I can click on install. So some manifest parsing is happening here. So let me do one thing. Let me just try to do it all over again. Now my good thing is that my uh, the good thing is that my bot registration is already done, so I don't need to create it all over again. So I can just quickly go to my home, and I can just delete it, and I'll create a new one from scratch. So let me just say demo Azure conf, and let me just do it again here. Generate the app ID, and then let me go and okay, I did not provide the package name last time. That's the problem I did last time. I missed out. So com dot I got it. Microsoft.com dot demo bot. You have to provide this. That's it. And that would have fixed. Okay. So and what it does, it's a demo bot for now. So it's a demo bot. That's it. I'll copy. Oh, it's getting. Why is it getting? Now I'll go to the developer is Rishabh Verma. Website is https. Sorry. And URLs also I'll just copy paste. Okay. And now I'll go to the bots thing. Now instead of creating a new bot registration, I can go to the existing bots, right? And say select from one of my existing bots, and then select this Azure conference bot. Okay. And then say the scope that I want. So I just click on these, right? So it has already all those things populated, even the endpoint is populated. And now I think if I go and click on test and distribute, it should be able to install it, right? So now if you see, I'm able to see this add dialog. I click on this add. So it will try to install it, and it's done. So now if you see, it's saying hello and welcome to Global Azure Conference 2021. And now let me search for Mads Christensen, right? And this, you see, this is saying Azure Conf bot is typing, and it gave me a link that, okay, so this is the URL where you can find it. That's good. Now let me search for semaphore. So semaphore, if I put again, it should give me another different URL. That's you see, that's a different URL, and if I open it, this will take me. This will take me to, right. Okay, I think there's a issue in rendering this, but I think you got the gist, right? So we are getting a different URL each time. So my teams should be up and running, right? So this is the Teams. And if I put something like, something like, which I shouldn't be finding here is, for example, if I put something like, uh, say, for example, Sachin Tendulkar, right? It shouldn't find it. So it should say no result find. Yeah, so if you see it, it says no match found. So this is how, this is how easy it is. I mean, I ran through few issues. We took about 17 about 20 minutes more than what we should have taken, but we were able to develop an end-to-end solution starting from scratch to enable the search experiences on the Teams using the bot framework and the Azure Cognitive Service. Thank you so much for joining, and have a wonderful weekend. And thank you so much for joining, everyone. Feel free to put your questions in the chat, and I would be happy to respond to them. Once again, thank you very much.